So a new alpha build is out, and that means there are a couple changes, a couple specifically for Ellie Shaman, and there's also the new Azerite armor thing as one of them. So you can kind of look at what traits might look like. So we have a couple things to go over today. First off, mostly just tooltip updates, but there's also Lava Surge now has a 15% flat chance instead of 10%. So basically just think Elemental Fusion from Legion that is now being baseline, which could make the spec a little more engaging. Some more Lava Surge procs, and they basically just update the tooltips to represent the new Mastery, which only generates half as much Maelstrom as the initial hit instead of 75%. It's been like this on Alpha the entire time, but they just now update the tooltip to not be quite as misleading, because it did say 75% before, and now it says less Maelstrom. It doesn't actually give an exact number, but we know it's 50%. Anyways, there are some talent changes I want to look at. There's a couple new talents, I believe, and then there's also just a bunch of rearranged talents. So now on the 15 row you have Exposed Elements, which is like the old Fulmination thing, Earth and Rage and Elemental Blast. You got 30 row Echo of the Elements, High Voltage has been moved here, and the Chain Lightning part of High Voltage has been removed. It is now just Lightning Bolt. That's fine, because it probably would have been really broken with Stormkeeper anyway. You got Echo of the Elements, High Voltage, and Ice Fury. Still kind of sad that that's Echo of the Elements and Ice Fury in the same row. You got the utility row here with the Spirit Wolf, Earth Shield, and Static Charge. And then you got the Storm Elemental, Liquid Magma Totem, and Totem Mastery row. Kind of interesting, because you pretty much... My assumption is that these two will be like different AoE talents, and this one's going to be a single target. Not sure what their plan is with that. But next row you got some utility. You got Nature's Guardian, which has been changed. It no longer gives you more max health. Now it heals you for 20% of your maximum health. It cannot occur more than once every 45 seconds. This is just like Shamanistic Healing, and just not as good. Kind of disappointed with this talent right now. Hopefully they can make this a little more appealing. Then you got Windrush Totem and Ancestral Guidance. 90 row you got Aftershock, Primal Elementalist, and Master of the Elements. None of these talents have been changed. And Unlimited Power. When your spells cause an elemental overload, you gain 2% haste for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Getting a stack does not refresh the duration, so you can't just keep this up indefinitely. That is with Stormkeeper and Ascendance. So this one's actually really interesting to me. Let's go ahead and pick some talents here. You know, I don't really want that. There we go. I suddenly remembered that I don't like that talent. Let's see if this actually works right now. I'm not sure if it's working in the alpha. I don't know if I have Stormily on my bar. I probably don't. Put that here. It is working. It's 2%. So it's kind of like Ancestral Swiftness, but a little more engaging. Feels like you're actually a part of what's happening here. And the fact that it can't stack on itself constantly is kind of good, because then you just... It would be basically this Ancestral Swiftness, but punishing downtime at all. Be kind of like the Shadow Priest problem right now, where any downtime on your damage just goes down quite a bit, though it wouldn't be quite as bad. But that's interesting. It doesn't... It feels like it's not working in Elemental Blast overloads. Could be wrong about that. I'll have to look more into that later. No, it is working. Never mind, I lied. It is working in Elemental Blast overload. It seems working right now. Interesting talent. But let's move on to the traits. I have not actually looked at these traits much yet. I kind of wanted to experience it with you guys. But if you don't know how these traits work, basically certain specific slots, I believe it's like 4 or 5 slots, will always have traits on them like these. And each piece of armor is already set, so it's not like the Crucible where every time you get a piece it's completely RNG. It's like the male of the champion will always have these exact same traits no matter what eye level it drops at or anything, and I don't think these slots can Warforge or Titanforge as well. So you can have like certain sets for like AoE or single target and stuff like that, and there's no RNG involved. It's basically just you find the ones with the best traits and you go for those. It's basically the replacement for tier that allows players to get what would normally be a tier set in other content as well, like PvP or Mythic Plus. But that said, let's look at the actual traits. So here you got Champion of Azeroth, contributing to the death of an enemy of Azeroth. Heals you for 786 and grants you 26 versatility for 1 minute, stacking up to 2 times. So this one could be really good for Mythic Plus, I guess. You can just keep that up a lot. Or world questing or whatever. Volcanic lightning, lava burst on a target that has been struck by your lightning in the last 4 seconds. Deal an additional 97 damage. I'm assuming struck by your lightning is just lightning bolt or chain lightning. So that one, they do seem to be making these as class specific a little bit, so that's kind of cool. Melee attacks with Flame Tongue active, increase the damage. Flame Tongue. Melee attacks with Flame Tongue active, increase the damage the target takes from your next lava lash by 19, stacking up to 10 times. So I guess I just learned that these are not necessarily spec specific, they are class specific. Interesting. So you can go for healing ones. Yeah, that's weird. And this one's a chain heal one, increasing the healing on primary target of chain heal. You got Gut Ripper, your damage abilities have a chance to deal 437 physical damage to the target. Gut Ripper occurs much more often against targets below 30% health. Let's pick one of these. Oh, I can't do any more. So this is basically just an execute, but it seems like it probably won't be that influential because it's just a trait. But still kind of a cool idea. Elemental Whirl, your damaging abilities have a chance to grant you Elemental Whirl, increasing your critical strike, haste, mastery, or versatility by 97 for 10 seconds. So it's kind of like Elemental Blast, but it can proc on anything. Woundbinder, your healing effects have a chance to increase your haste by 78 for 6 seconds. Healing lower health targets will grant you more haste. That's almost entirely a healing thing, but I guess if you have like the healing, I guess like even AG, you could probably proc this if you use it at the right time. Stuff like that could be interesting. Empiric speed, when an enemy you damage dies, you heal for 786 and gain 60 speed for 6 seconds. Another kind of like world questing one. Resounding protection, every 30 seconds gain an absorb shield for 262 for 30 seconds. So I'm not sure if the number is final on this one because it's a very, very small absorb effect. But assuming this isn't going to be tiny, that's actually just like Pride as. And having a trait that's like Pride as is something I'm very all for, because then you can have your own defensive setups and stuff. You can target certain gear to get a defensive setup, and that'd be really cool. You can put that on for scary tyrannical bosses or whatever. So if they continue with this kind of idea, I like that too. But obviously 262 is a bit of a low number. Hopefully that scales up a bit. And the last one is just increasing the item level of the item by 5. So there's a quick idea of what traits might look like. I kind of like them so far because they aren't like huge. They're not like legendary effects or something. But at the same time, some of them do have a bit of an influence on your gameplay. Or just a noticeable influence when you're playing, like Gut Ripper, or this one actually has an influence on your gameplay a bit. You probably wouldn't actually try to work around it, but it's there, and you'll notice it, so that's kind of cool. So that's all we got for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully we'll see some more stuff like this in the future coming soon, because the more information we have, the more fun I'm having getting to look at it in Theorycraft and whatever else. But thanks for watching, guys. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys next time.